want the microphone. Morning. I just want the microphone. Morning. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. This world is getting so cold. I wanna keep running like a soldier. Somebody must have touched my soul, cause there ain't no stopping till it's over. I wanna get up out my chair, cause everybody's getting so lazy. Don't want nobody touch my hair, cause a lot of sisters acting too crazy. And them not tough like this, rough like this, and them not nice like this. Some can't take it when you talk true sense. Rather hear the words that glorify nonsense. Yes, and I got my brains, and I'm pretty like my mama. I don't wanna pick your brains, I just want the microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. I wanna share my love, but it's gotta be with someone who's precious. You're never gonna get my love, accepting that you're real precious. You're never gonna cramp my style, baby, cause I get a lot of pleasure. And if you wanna test my style, you better have a whole lot of measure, cause I'm a rock back chick, never tag along the never look back chick. Trendy, a little crazy, intelligent. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's just about 7 a.m. and we want to welcome you to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Maria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Those of you in the Caribbean, and those of you viewing us on the live. Good morning. Well, viewers, he finally surfaced, or rather resurfaced. Good morning to you, Julian.
Good morning, Ria. Good morning indeed.
With a bang and bling.
Yes. And you know, it was a much needed birthday time out. Well enjoyed. I cannot complain at all. And you know, I want to thank everyone so much in terms of really sharing that love and that connection. As I said, it's a good thing when people can enjoy a birthday celebration, particularly in these times. And yes, Ria, when I would have head on over to Checkpoint, you know, it's two reasons this morning. One being in the first instance, you know, just after the birthday, she said you gotta ensure, you know, they're at Checkpoint, so you gotta ensure that you go back out, you know, with style and with flair coming after the birthday. And I said, no problem at all, let's give it a try. And then they said to me, in addition to that, persons ought to know, we now enter what is the graduation season, Ria?
That's right.
Graduation. So Checkpoint has indicated now that within this period, they want to give parents and all others who are in that graduation lineup a sense that they've also got a graduation line. So just in case, you know, you see the colors sparkling a bit more than normal in the coming days, in the coming weeks, it's to give parents a sense of what's available for that graduation lineup. So this is the very first in the start, where this is a black and
you
silver.
need to describe it.
Yeah. This is a black and silver combination. Yes. This morning, and it's almost as though the lines going in varying directions.
Intricate detail they refer to.
So you get that kind of effect.
Yes.
You know, when you step out in and out. Imagine heading into a graduation with a blazer like this. by the time you stood by the door, you haven't even entered the room just yet, the kind of impact. So
That's
remember
right.
to check Checkpoint, located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough. That's 639-5148. Checkpoint.
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 All right.
Viewers, at this point, we head on over to news in 90 seconds with Denise. Candice.
Hi, good morning, viewers. Here's your news in 90 seconds. A 2% wage increase for public servants is being described as a slap in the face by political leader of Unity of the People, Nkosi Phillips. Last week, it was revealed that the Chief Personnel Officer is proposing a 2% increase for public servants as negotiations are ongoing. Public servants have not experienced a wage increase since 2013. Phillips is also concerned about what union leaders have been doing in recent times to ensure fair wage negotiations are taking place with the CPU and the government. Pediatric Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines have arrived in the country. The vaccines arrived at the Piarco International Airport yesterday at 6:44. These vaccines were specially developed to inoculate children ages 5 to 11. The Ministry of Health announced that pediatric vaccines will be available in health centers across the country from Wednesday. In Tobago, it will be available at health centers in Scarborough, Canaan, Roxborough, and Mariah. Parents and guardians must accompany children and walk with national identification and the birth certificate of the child. Now on to some news from Trinidad. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessar is accusing Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley of not telling the truth about the SABGA report. Dr. Rowley on Sunday stated he was shocked about the contents of the report and had no prior knowledge. The SABGA report, compiled in 1997, detailed extensive physical and sexual abuse endured by children in home institutions across the country. Speaking at the UNC virtual Monday night forum, Persad-Bissessar explained that the SABGA report was used to form 5 pieces of legislation in 1999 to address the care of children. Meanwhile, she explained that various PNM ministers over the years referenced the report whenever legislation for children was debated. That was your news in 90 seconds. Be sure to join us at 8 a.m. for more news. Back to you, Julian.
Thank you very much there, Candice. Ray, you know, you get so accustomed to the Candice and Denicia connection there, folks. And indeed, and we're seeing in terms of following on the live as well. Morning to each and every one of you. I'm seeing connecting with us on the live. Yes, Selma Lashley. It was an enjoyable birthday celebration, and I'm giving thanks. Most definitely. I see Auntie Dora is also on the live with us this morning.
Definitely. Auntie Dora must always be on the live. She has to be there.
Yes, and I see there's also Alicia Richardson Williams on the live with us this morning.
Definitely. And let me just say here, Alicia sent a message to you. She wanted me to personally mention your birthday. She was really happy that you were able to celebrate in such fine style. She wishes that she were here. She said, she was just asking a lot of questions about you. But Alicia, I will pass the messages on to Julian.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you want me to do it on the live. I doubt very much you'd want me to do it on the live. But I will certainly ensure that he gets those messages.
Morning to you, Alicia Richardson Williams, all right, and Hazel Isaac, Godfrey Moore, and the entire team out there. We want to thank you all so much for continuing to connect with us. And Rhea, I got the chance in watching back later on last night. I didn't catch it first thing, but I watched it late last night, and it's also a celebration kind of week because we are also now live on 91.9 FM.
That's right.
Connecting, so we're making sure to add those frequencies for you folks, and you continue to view us, those of you via Gael, those of you via M&E TV, Smash Radio, now 91.9 FM, TobagoUpdates.com, YouTube, and also those of you continuing to connect with us on social media. We head on into our birthday segment because it's May, the month of May 2022. Do you see that touch of joy and the glow on Candice Jackson? Let's continue here. All All right. So viewers, we head on into our birthday celebrations this morning, and we get started with Annalisa Nichols wishing you a happy birthday. And this is coming from the entire Simon family. All right. We know that the celebration started yesterday. All right, and we're also sending out, this is over the weekend, a birthday celebrations to Achikemba Phillips Gardner, wishing you a happy birthday. And in May, we continue the celebrations. Rian, I think I saw that this other one was up yesterday, but you know, I got to send a special birthday to my dear friend out there and birthday twin, Ria Orr. All right, wishing you a happy birthday. And also another one of my birthday twins, Candice Nichols, sending birthday shout outs to Candice Nichols out there. And we go on to another one of my birthday twins, Kiam out there in Barbados, also having celebrated on the 22nd of May, wishing you a happy birthday. And sending birthday greetings, I refer to this gentleman, we're like twin brothers, brothers with different mothers, but mothers shared some time together side by side in the hospital. Leo Grant Jr., so we grew up with that connection as brothers, wishing you a happy birthday. Birthday shout outs also going out to Talia Bernard this morning, wishing Talia a happy birthday. Continuing the celebrations, and in our lineup this morning we have Kelly Jackson Baines. Kelly Jackson Baines wishing you a happy birthday. We trust that you enjoy, and Kelly tunes in as well from time to time in terms of supporting the Tobago Updates morning show. Tobago Roots working very hard out there in Trinidad, representing. That's all right. Continuing to represent. We want to send birthday shout outs to each and every one this morning in that lineup. I see Miss Carol and some of the others joining in on the live. Morning, Miss Carol.
Out there in space.
Who do we have on our rundown this morning?
Well, we're going to be kicking things. We're going to be kicking. Yeah, it just. I made one touch, viewers, and it was gone. So coming up on the program this morning, we will be. And it's a good thing I had both devices on the rundown. Okay, so I was able to just switch. But coming up on the program this morning, we will be chatting with Michael Anisette concerning the CPO's 2% salary increase. He'll tell us more about it. We'd love to hear his views as well on what the Prime Minister had to say on the issue. So that's we kick things off with Michael Anisette.
Yes, and then we flow right on into conversations with Marilyn David, and he's the THA Executive Coordinator for the Office of the Minority Leader. And we're speaking to the Minority Report, which premieres tonight here on Tobago Updates. So we'll be chatting with Marilyn David.
And closing us off this morning, we will be chatting with Sita Bipath, the Assistant Secretary of the Tobago Hindu Society. And Sita's going to be chatting with us on Indian Arrival Day Celebrations 2022, which is coming up on Monday, the 30th of May, which is next week, Monday. Yes, long weekend holiday. We expect to see some of you Trinis over here.
Yes. And we thank them so much for continuing to share, because, you know, it's important as we seek to rebuild. And it's just that constant reminder in terms of ensuring that we take on that responsibility, especially at these times, even as we celebrate. Because, Ria, I'm listening in the news and I'm hearing of, other diseases now to be concerned about in the mix out there in the world and so on. And we continue to pray that, they really do not get to the point as serious as a pandemic, or even more so, we really even hope that they don't even enter in any serious kind of way the shores here of Trinidad and Tobago.
Definitely. And very quickly here, Julian, I want to make mention of my very good friend out there in Bethel. I forgot to mention him yesterday morning, but I want you to know my heart was there. So St. Lambert Williams, and I had to put in this is the full name. He said to me over the weekend, Ria, do you know my full name? You keep saying Mr. Williams, and for years I've just said Mr. Williams. I said, what is the first name? And when he gave it to me, I said, wait, it's a big name so you have? So I said, no. Monday morning, but Monday it really did slip me. So today, Tuesday, St. Lambert Williams, good morning. A special good morning going out to you, my dear friend.
All right, and it name there, that is name to have.
I'm telling you, not just Lambert, it's St. Lambert Williams.
Definitely. And I have to go just before we head on out to this segment to the comment by Miss Carol out there. Good morning to my sister Ria. The dress. Yes, Miss Carol. And if you see the length of the dress approved by Oswald, I'm certain.
What is he
but
doing?
Indeed, beautiful dress. Yeah.
What is he doing?
by Ria this morning. I just had to drop that in the mix. All right, viewers. Ria, anything to say there?
Not a thing, not a word.
Beautiful, beautiful dress indeed this morning. Because we want to thank you so much for the continued love and support here for the Tobago Updates morning show. Those of you joining us via TV, via radio, yes, 91.9 FM. Yes, all of you listening in on 91.9 FM now. Yes, this is the Tobago Updates morning show. Those of you joining us online, as well as each and every one of you connecting with us at tobagoupdates.com, YouTube. Those of you on social media, Facebook, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
When you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning. This world is getting so cold. I wanna keep running like a soldier. Somebody must have touched my soul.
Tobago made. Prices are sweet like mango at Thorns Place. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Call now 745-7306 for our May special starting at 200 TT at Thorns Place. Prices are sweet like mango.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
The Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates morning show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates morning show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
Pre-qualification notice deadline 30th June 2022. The Tobago Regional Health Authority (TRHA) is updating its current list of pre-qualified contractors, suppliers, consultancy firms, and sole traders to ensure compliance with the mandate of the procurement regulations of Trinidad and Tobago. All interested contractors and suppliers desirous of entering into business arrangements with the TRHA are invited to engage in the pre-qualification of suppliers registration process. For more information, visit the following link: trha.page.link/tenders.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. It's 7:14 a.m. and this is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, viewers, we are chatting with Marilyn David, a THA Executive Coordinator with the Office of the Minority Leader, and we're speaking to the Minority Report, the show which was intended to premiere, but we'll get some updates and some clarity here from Mr. Marilyn David. Morning, morning, and welcome on set.
Morning, Julian. Thanks you for the invitation. Thank you for being here again. Morning, Tobago. It's a pleasure always being with the Tobago Updates family.
Excellent. So as we get started this morning, we would have premiered in terms of identifying one of our newer programs that will be hitting the lineup here for Tobago Updates, the Minority Report. Just give us some headway. There's an adjustment in terms of not starting tonight, but starting is it next week or in
next
weeks
week
to come?
Tuesday? Yeah.
So it's going to start.
It is going to start next week, Tuesday. Yes, we know that it was formally discussed. However, as with the Minority Council now, everything that is done, we want to also have a measure of professionalism. We want to have a measure of preparedness, because the work of the people is not something that you should take lightly. And so when we took into consideration a number of factors in terms of not just planning one show, but we want to be able to have a number of episodes already formulated and put in place, so that when we begin the process, that it's a smooth rollout. And so we took the decision to push it back 1 week to give ourselves more leverage, so that we can plan, we can engage persons correctly, we can have a proper structure, and so forth.
All right, so viewers, you know, quite naturally there, the Minority through Marilyn David has just indicated that with the shift from this week to next week, they're going to come even stronger. So we look forward to the Minority Report, which will premiere next week, Tuesday, in terms of highlights. Now, just give our viewers a sense in terms of what are you proposing to capture ultimately in terms of the concept behind the Minority Report and connecting with our viewing public here via Tobago Updates.
Well, Julian, the name speaks volumes to it. The name is represented in two parts, Minority and Report. Minority representing the position that is now held, being led by Assemblyman Kelvon Morris as the Minority Leader and Mrs. Petel Daniel Benoit as the Minority Councillor. And the word report speaks to being able to report to the people in this instance. Now, one of the rules of the minority or the opposition, as it's commonly termed within the framework of government, is to be able to not just oppose, but also to educate the public. And education comes in many different ways. In this instance, we utilize a different platform, being Tobago Updates, streaming live and so on, not just Facebook and these types of areas, but the education aspect of it speaks volumes to being able to bring information to the public, being able to highlight things that are taking place that the man on the street may not be aware of. And in terms of its role, the minority is also responsible for advocating on behalf of those many individuals who do not have that voice or do not have the platform in terms of the legislative body. And so many of the views that may be ventilated in the House would also be ventilated on this particular platform, in addition to those others that have been selected. So we're going to see a number of different opportunities come for public education, for creating public awareness, and for bringing to the fore the level of accountability that is expected to be held by this administration. And we all know that once you hear opposition, people think it's just about quarreling and clamoring. But this minority has been very careful to take a very methodical approach to the way that it approaches the role that it has in relation to the administration, to hold the administration accountable, but also to agree when the administration does something that is to the benefit of the people of the island of Tobago.
As we speak to the Minority Report and where the focus is going to be, would you say, and I know you just mentioned in terms of the minority being accountable to the people of Tobago, and we've seen where in the first instance with regards to reaching out with some of those concerns and what may have been the broader response of the general public, would you agree that the minority would have to naturally look at different strategies because of the fact that this minority comes after an extended period where you and your administration would have been in government? So quite naturally, the way persons react, rather than probably seeing the issue firsthand, is probably to react to suggest, but you have been doing it for so many years. Not that that makes it right, but that kind of reaction we've seen in the public space. What then is would you therefore consider a varying kind of approach in terms of really getting some of the issues out there as the minority?
Well, Julian, the thing is, in politics and in a number of other fields, consistency is the key. And though voices may have been raised in the interim, one must understand the political climate after 21 years or so being in office and being removed. There would be a sense of euphoria by those who may have supported the now present administration. However, as time rolls on and the issues continue to be presented in a concise manner, not bragadash, as we say, not quarrelsome, but the information that is presented is validated by facts. People listen. And what we've seen, even in the last press conference, I don't know if you had the opportunity to view it, if you were to compare that press conference with the first press conference that was done, the outcry or the backlash in terms of comments and so on is a lot less. And I think that what people want now, they want meaningful collaboration between the minority and the administration. What people want is clarity. What people want is for the administration to hold themselves accountable for the things that they would have promised on their campaign trails. And if this is not being done, and the minority, through whatever platforms they would have set up, we have even the whistleblower platform, the ITEL, and a number of persons have been sending information through these avenues. If the minority now has information that would assist in this administration being held accountable, then the opportunity is now to present that information consistently to the public. And so people over time would no longer look at the messenger and they would more embrace the message, as we've seen happening in a really, really meaningful way. So noise and clamoring does not change what is the legal function of the minority or any opposition in government, that is to advocate on behalf of the people, to hold the government accountable, and to be able to assist in the formulation of policy.
All right. As we speak to the Minority Report, I want to go a little further. On Thursday, we are anticipating that the minority will be bringing a motion in the House. Give us some, just give us some highlights or some specifics into that. What can we expect in terms of this motion being brought forth by the minority?
Well, as always indicated by the minority, one of the things that is held dear is the fact that whatever is done from the legislative body's side should always be to the benefit of Tobago. And what the minority has been looking at over a number of months is the social structures of social support systems that we have on the island, and specifically the impact that we've seen take place as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this government has taken quite a lot of effort, or made quite a lot of effort, to put social support systems in place to assist persons who may, for one reason or the other, suffer from one social ill or the other, including domestic violence or child abuse. And this has continued to be bolstered over years. However, what we've seen directly as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, over the last 2 years, there has been an increase in domestic violence, there has been an increase in child abuse and so on. And there has been many research papers and many surveys and studies done, which have directly linked the fact that persons would have been, in many cases, locked into same spaces with their abusers, and a number of other factors that would have affected the individuals. You have loss of income. A lot of persons would have been out of jobs and so on. And this is not something that is indigenous to Tobago. This is something that is a global issue. So what the minority has been doing, it has been consulting with various stakeholders, a number of professionals, and we have seen the need to now ask or call on the administration to revisit some of the policies in terms of the social support systems that need to be put in place that are directly related to the ills of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that call is going to come on Thursday to partner now with NGOs and so on in a more meaningful way to try to bring some sort of relief to these persons, both victims and abusers.
Great, thank you very much, Dan. We're getting some insights into Thursday, what's going to be happening in the House as the minority presents the motion just defined there by Mr. Marilon David. And we want to thank you so much for joining us here on set this morning. And as a gentle reminder to you folks, it premieres not this Tuesday, not tonight, but next Tuesday, the 31st of May, 2022. You can look forward to the Minority Report coming here via Tobago Updates. All right, thank you very much again, and to all our viewers on the lineup and on the live with us this morning. Morning, Miss Jean Bacchus out there. Morning to you. I'm also seeing on the live with us this morning, Petulia, Jack, Omar Glaze, and the entire team out there. We say thank you to each and every one of you for your continued love and support. This is the Tobago Updates morning show, and we want to remind you to share the live.
I just want a microphone.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Are you looking for that all-in-one shopping experience? Then look no more. Visit Lamb's Best Mart for your grocery items, fruits and vegetables, drinks, home items, stationery, gift items, hampers, shopping gift cards, toiletries, small hardware items, and much more. We provide order and pickup service, even delivery to your door. We are your friendly community supermarket. Check us out today at Lamb's Best Mart, located at 22 Daniel Trace, Canby, or visit us on social media at Lamb's Best Mart.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO, and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. It's 7:28 a.m. this morning, viewers, and we're happy to be here with you once again today, Tuesday, as we head on into that week. Yes, we're winding down May of 2022. Rhea, Daddy is this week.
Daddy was yesterday.
Daddy was yesterday.
Daddy
morning,
was
morning,
yesterday.
and birthday shout-outs to you, Mr. Richardson out there. And I know the entire family will ensure that you enjoy that birthday. And I'm sure Daddy would probably be saying, now, why limit it to one day? He's born in May. Why limit it to one day? All right, viewers, as we head on in to our next segment here this morning, we are chatting, and he should be online with us this morning, Michael Anistet, General Secretary of the National Trade Union Center, NATUC, and we are speaking to the CPO 2% salary increase. Good morning, morning to you.
Pleasant morning to you, pleasant morning to Tobago Port workers, PTSC workers, THA workers, all workers of Tobago. We sending love from the National Trade Union Center. Stay strong, stay firm. Good morning to Tobago.
And I can see
And
the
blessings to you.
expression on Michael Anisted's face. He's probably saying, if only I was just in Tobago for this interview. Yes, sir, as we head on in.
Yes, I will honestly take a plane and come if you invite me to do justice. All right, in person as opposed to virtual. You are so correct.
Certainly. And I want you to give us a span in terms of the, you touched on it there as you brought the greetings for the morning. This span of representation for the national trade, in terms of the National Trade Union.
All right, well, we represent almost all, not almost, all government daily rated workers in Trinidad and also in Tobago, which is the THA workers and some government employees. We also have under our banner PSA, which represents, the public servants, the public sector. We represent workers on statutory boards like the Port Authority Board, the IMA Board, National Flour Mill Board. So we represent a cross-section of workers who falls directly under the government employment. All right, and I want to make the distinction between the government as the government and the government as an employer who has a fiduciary responsibility to treat and meet in good faith with the unions who represent workers and who must engage in social dialogue in keeping with the ILO conventions as it relates to collective bargaining on behalf of workers. So it's a wide cross-section of workers that we do represent, and we would have been engaging the CPO. I, as the General Secretary, would have been part of the team as a consultant and advisor to the various unions who would have been interfacing and meeting and treating with the CPO as it relates to the outstanding negotiations, which in some instances is as far back as 2008. And in some instances for 10 and 12 years.
All right, now, Mr. Anderson, we're talking here about this 2% increase, this 2% increase, salary increase over an 8-year period. And government workers are saying no to that. In fact, they've decided to take protest action. Yet the Prime Minister is saying, let's not overreact here. What are your thoughts on what the Prime Minister had to say with regards, the issue?
All
Let's
right,
not overreact.
You see, all right, if the government ministers are enjoying salary increases, which they would have enjoyed, and we would have worked out the percentage points, and they are getting all their benefits. But when you have workers who would have worked, as you know, during the COVID period, when you have the nurses, the healthcare workers, the port workers in Tobago, the port workers in Trinidad, WASA workers, PTSC workers in Tobago, who would have been outside there on the front line, who were deemed to be essential workers and who have not yet received wage increases going back to as much as 10, 13 years. And you come and tell those groups of workers, listen, I can only afford to pay 1%. What is 1%? And let me work it out quickly. All right, 1% of $1 is 1 cent. So all you need to do is to work out, if you're getting $4,000, what that represents is 40 cents for a 4-year period that has been offered by the government. I'm just using that as an example. And if you divide that, okay, by the 4 years, you're going to see that is boiled down to 10 cents per year. Okay? And then the question is it that the government is saying that our employees, your employees, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago only deserve 10 cents a year? That is what you are saying? And we are saying no. And why we are saying no? We are saying no that on the basis that the empirical evidence that everybody will be able to resonate with what I'm saying, and more particularly the people in Tobago, because their cost of living is higher than that in Trinidad and Tobago, given the manner in which goods have to come to Tobago. So having said that, we have seen an increase based on our analysis of over 45% increases in goods and services over the 10-year period and the 8-year period. And all we are asking as a union, we are not asking for anything astronomical. All we are saying that the workers in Tobago have to be able to maintain the purchasing powers. If they used to buy goods of a value of, let us say, $1,000 8 years ago, their salaries now must be able to maintain that level of purchasing power in order for the workers to survive. That is all we are asking, and that is not unreasonable on the basis of economic realities that is facing workers in Tobago.
All right. How do you respond to the concern that's raised from this standpoint, you know, of those in authority that we are in difficult and we've just been through very challenging times? And, you know, one might very well say so much has been spent on social support and a number of areas that the 2% is precisely what can be afforded. How do you respond to that in terms of affordability? And that's what the country can manage at this time from those in authority.
Okay, you see, we are dealing with the economic philosophy here. And this government has clearly demonstrated that wage restraint is a mechanism that has been used by the IMF and the World Banks in order to give the impression that that will help your economy to grow. We are on the other economic philosophy where it has been demonstrated that where you have decent living wages, where you have job growths and growth in wages, your economy grows quicker and faster rather than putting what I will want to call the economic restraint that has been placed on the basis of the recession. And we know we had a financial recession almost 10 years ago. And all the efforts in which to restrain wages would have demonstrated that is not the way to go. And I would just want to allude quickly to one point that we must pay attention. When Biden came into office, the first thing that he said, that workers contributes to this economy, and therefore I am going to raise the minimum wages. And he did raise the minimum wages. And there was this conventional thought that if you raise the minimum wages, workers are going to suffer because the employers would not be able to employ. And that one act by the American president would have propelled the economics of the GDP in America to a higher level, and you would have seen economic growth to almost 3-point-something percentage points. And why? Let me tell Tobago and all the workers in Tobago, the port workers and port workers, don't forget that the government has determined that they want to privatize the port of Scarborough. Put that in your mind. And what that would have done, it means that there was more disposable incomes in the hands of the workers, and therefore the workers were able to go out in the economy and buy the goods and services, which is part of economics. If you do not have the population or you do not have workers to purchase the goods and services that are being manufactured or the services that is being offered, your economy is going to go over an economic precipice. That is a reality in life. In other words, capital and labor must work together in order to have the synergies that is necessary for the economy to grow. But when you depress labor and when what we call in economics functional distribution of income, and your system is allowing the income inequalities that we are seeing in Trinidad and Tobago, well, then we are going down a precipice that we will live to regret. And all we are saying, workers have a right to survive in this country and to live decently by the way of living wages and decent terms and conditions of employment. That's an economic reality that is now being practiced. And may I add, suffice it to say, that the World Bank and the IMF, they are now saying that their policies of wage restraint, right, where the country pays the prices in order to get the IMF loan, it is something that it was misdirected, and they are now looking at the question of what we are talking about, job growth and also wage growth. Because if you don't have people who have jobs in your country, if you don't have workers who have proper wages and decent wages and living wages to pay for the goods and services, ultimately the country is going to suffer. And may I make one more point? It is unfortunate that the Honorable Prime Minister would make a statement that if I give workers a living wage, I will have to send workers home. I mean, we see that as insensitive, we see that as a threat, and that is not economic reality. The reality is the philosophy that the government is pushing, where they see wage restraint as the measure to have the economy going. And where the very same government is paying off that, is paying off all the contractors, all their money, because they view, all right, that profits should trump distribution of wages for workers. That is the issue.
Let me ask you here, if the public sector, public servants did accept this 2% wage increase, how much would it work out to be? Give us an idea. Let's say there's a salary of $7,000, $7,000 gross. How would you work it out for us?
Very, very easy to work out. As I said, 1% on a dollar is 1 cent. So if you are getting $7,000, and I will work it out easy for workers to be able to do the math for themselves. You multiply 2 by 7,000, that is $140. That is what it represents. $140, that is what it represents for the 8-year period. And when you divide $140, right, by 8 years, you're going to see what we are talking about. We are saying that is economic violence and economic abuse that is being perpetrated against the workers, because the workers and your human resource is your most important capital. And when you don't play that and you are more concentrated on the functional distribution that only speaks to profit and the business making profit, as opposed to distributing it for labor so labor can get a decent wages, we are going down in a neoclassical economic policy that has failed to work internationally, because internationally the inequality gaps in terms of wages and in terms of wealth is getting wider and wider and wider, and we are saying that we do not need that for Tobago and our Trinidad workers.
All right. What do you say then to those who will make the statement that, you know what, from the union perspective or even from the government's perspective, that the 2% is simply a starting point based on prior experience, because we know no matter what we put out there, the unions would insist and request more?
All right, let me debunk that in the public domain. When we met, as I said, I was part of the team as the General Secretary of NATO, operating as an advisor and a consultant to the 3 unions, daily rated workers, which is NUGFW workers, contractors in general, and amalgamated workers. You know, the NUGFW represent the workers in THA too. Having said that, the CPO, who is the de jure employer of those workers, told us that, listen, he ain't come to waste time. He want to cut the armchairs and he want to deal with the issue so we could get it over. We have money in a small empire. I want you to give up cola. I want you to take a look at giving up allowances, and then we will use that to make a wage increase. But in his conversation, I would have picked up that he was talking about only giving wage increases currently, and currently means now. When I questioned him, he did admit that is what he meant. And the 3 unions made noise about it. Because what current means, and I want to be able to understand that, all the workers who would have worked in 2012, 2014, 2013, 2014, 2016, 2017, who have left and who didn't get a wage increase and who was expecting some level of wage increase to commensurate with the years of service that they had prior before they retire. They are not getting no increases whatsoever. Is that fair? So having said that, he made the proposal, all right, and then he came back and he said, this is what we are offering. Now, if you tell me that you are serious, you don't want this put in, and I'm talking that you go 2, I go 10, and I come back to 8, we want to settle, and you make a proposal of 2%, well, then we are saying that you are not serious. Because if you're serious and you want to finalize the negotiations, you will sit down with us and you will make reasonable proposal that will bring us to the winning pole. Because the union made it clear, we understood the economic realities. We understand that what we used to get in the past, okay, cannot suffice in this economic climate. But at the same time, the right for a worker to get a decent wages must not be ignored, and the right for a worker to be able to maintain his purchasing powers so that he can go and buy his goods and services cannot be ignored. And let me make one final point on that. People do not understand and want the government.
Mr. Anistet, we just
What's
out
that?
of time. We just out of time. Yes. For this interview this morning.
I was just going to make a hell point that I think is critical.
You can give a one answer question. What's the minimum starting percentage point for the union? That's a one word answer.
Listen, we have no minimum starting point. All we are saying that the economic realities and the purchasing power of our workers in order to buy and feed their children nutritionally and maintain the light bills or the mortgage bills, that is what is important. Because if I'm working and I cannot do that, we consider that economic violence and economic slavery.
All right, thank you so much, and we're certainly going to have you back as we look forward to what sort of action and so will be taking place in terms of going forward. Thank you very much again, Mr. Michael Anistet, General Secretary of the National Trade Union Center, joining us there. Certainly some indications of being not satisfied at all. And, you know, one would think quite naturally, 2% over an 8-year period, it seems like a real stretch in terms of, I don't know if some may even refer to that as below bare minimum, considering the fact that realistically, things have been increasing everywhere. Everywhere things have been increasing, with the exception of salaries.
Most definitely. And the trade unions calling on public servants to take action. Is one day enough? Is one day, strike one day? Is it enough to send the point or to make the stand or to send the message that you want to send to the government?
So it's left to be seen, and we'll certainly be following this matter most definitely as we go forward, where the CPU has started with a 2% offer in terms of increases. Viewers, coming up in our next segment, we'll be chatting with Sita Bipat, Assistant Secretary of the Tobago Hindu Society, and we are speaking to Indian Arrival Day Celebration 2022. This is your opportunity, viewers, to share the live, share the live, share the live.
There's a taste in the air everywhere. Feel the vibe, cause it's something to share. Smooth, rich and creamy, you'll find it right here. Makes you smile, relax a while, it's fun and good cheer. Ooh, enjoy every scoop. Ooh, every taste will get you hooked. We have flavors that you love, a combination special. Come along, enjoy our treats. This is Uncle Pete's.
Tobago in May. Prices are sweet like mango at Thorns Place. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Call now 745-7306 for our May special, starting at 200 TT at Thorns Place. Prices are sweet like mango.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
The Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates Morning Show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates Morning Show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. At this point, we are chatting with Sita Bipath. She's the Assistant Secretary for the Tobago Hindu Society. And this morning, the focus is on Indian Arrival Day celebrations 2022. Good morning and welcome to you, Sita.
Good morning and Sitaram to everyone.
Thank you so much. Now, viewers, this year there will be no dancing for Sita Bipath. There will be absolutely no dancing. And it's Sita Bipath combi. Do you carry a combi?
Not as yet, but
it's
I
Sita
carry
Bipath
combi.
combi. Okay. All right, so there will be no dancing for Sita this year. And Sita, you want to tell us why? Because Sita walked in here looking quite different this morning, viewers.
Well, I'm soon to be a mommy, so no dancing for me this year.
All little
so
Sita
our
has
family is
grown up.
growing.
Definitely. Congratulations to you and Huzzy. All right, so like I said, viewers, no dancing for Sita this year, but maybe next year. Maybe you see baby and Sita and daddy dancing for next year's celebrations. So Sita, tell us what's been happening this year. The last time we connected with you guys would have been for Diwali last year, I believe, Diwali last year.
Yeah.
And now we're talking coming up on Monday. What is the society doing to commemorate and celebrate Indian Arrival?
Well, so Indian Arrival Day 2022 in Tobago, hosted by the Tobago Hindu Society, we are collaborating with Shivagana Organization and also with the Caribbean Hindustani. So we'll be working alongside Shivagana Organization with their artists and also with some of our performers.
And that will be happening here in Tobago?
Yes.
On the said day?
On Sunday, the 29th at the Esplanade.
Okay, because I've realized that very often it's either we celebrate in Tobago before or we celebrate after, but never really on the day in Tobago. Why is that?
Never on the day, because we try to enjoy the day for ourselves. We do the program, our program ahead or time before so that we can accommodate artists from Trinidad who will also have to be occupied on the said day. So we bring artists from Trinidad to help us out and, you know, to help us with our program that we have a successful one.
All right. Now, I know you were one of those students earlier on. You went abroad and you trained. You trained in your area of dance. What about in Tobago? Do we have any Tobago-based East Indian artists who, you know, we don't always want to have to wait for Trinidad to send over some, you know, some artists. But who are some of the locally based artists?
Well, we don't really have locally based Indian artists, but soon we would be having locally based artists when I start my dancing.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right. When she starts.
When I start teaching.
Okay, when she starts teaching. This is after baby's walking.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and special good morning going out to Govinda. Good morning to you wherever you are. I'm not sure if you're viewing, but a special good morning going out to Govinda. He's one of those that we saw come up through the ranks, and you know, just a special good morning going out to him. So you mentioned here that it's happening on Sunday.
Yes.
And where would it be happening?
At the Scarborough Esplanade.
Okay. And this is for anyone to come out and enjoy?
This is for everyone to come out and enjoy now that the pandemic is coming to an end. We are trying to accommodate as much people as we could, and we are also going to have meals provided to everyone.
Okay, and I understand that Tobago Updates will be carrying it live.
Tobago Updates will be carrying it live, and we also have our youngest member, Mia Prasad, who will be performing for us.
I tell you, Mia was with you guys last year, was she?
For Diwali, she was on the program as well.
Yes, I do remember. I think I do remember seeing her. So definitely. And the society is still open for members, yes?
The society is always open and welcome to every member that wants to join and assist.
All right. Is there a cost attached to this event on Sunday?
No, we don't have a cost attached to the event, but if you would like to donate or you all would like to contribute to the temple building, that's not a problem.
All right. Remind us of what's the update on the temple?
Well, we have started doing groundwork on the temple. We are in the process of casting the beams and laying down the, basically we are working on the foundation right now.
Okay. And where is it going to be located?
It is located in Signal Hill, in the proximity of the Army base, right next to the street that is next to the Army base.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so persons can contribute, if they so desire, to the building of the temple. You can give generously at the event on Sunday.
Yes.
If you desire to do so. All right. Any other bits of information for viewers this morning?
We would also be having the Chief Secretary would be gracing us with his presence on Sunday, as well as the Assistant Secretary for Community Development, Youth Affairs and Sport, Mr. Wayne Clark.
All right. So certainly an evening to look forward to, and that's coming up on Sunday evening. Give us a time again.
Between 1 p.m. and 4.
1 p.m. and 4. So you don't want to miss it. It's a nice way to celebrate or to spend the Sunday afternoon, so you can take the family and you can go on out. All right, so Sita, thank you so much. And it's always a pleasure to have you on our program.
Thank you very much.
All right, and all the best to you. Viewers, we've got lots more coming up on the Tobago Updates morning show. So remember, share the live, share the live, share the live.
Pre-qualification notice deadline 30th June 2022. The Tobago Regional Health Authority (TRHA) is updating its current list of pre-qualified contractors, suppliers, consultancy firms and sole traders to ensure compliance with the mandate of the procurement regulations of Trinidad and Tobago. All interested contractors and suppliers desirous of entering into business arrangements with the TRHA are invited to engage in the pre-qualification of suppliers registration process. For more information, visit the following link: trha.page.link/tenders.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. This is our final segment here this morning for the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. And yes, I got the messages as well coming in on WhatsApp. Yes, folks, it's Checkpoint. The blizzard this morning, and they're into it. The return from my birthday. and also the fact that they're into the graduation season now. So you'll be getting a taste of in the coming weeks. Graduation season, feel free to check them out. Catering for the young men from boys right up in terms of men, the various outfits. So Checkpoint, located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough, 639-5148. Ria, what's happening on our roadways very quickly before we wrap this morning?
Yeah, very quickly. There is a lot of traffic coming from the east because of an accident in the Glamorgan area, involving a maxi taxi, license plate HCM 1171, and what type of van is that there, Julian? Is that?
I'm not seeing the photo.
No, and a grey. All I'm seeing is a grey van. I'm not sure if it's a Navara. From what I'm seeing just now.
So we really want to remind persons, please be very cautious on the roadway, in terms of because certainly it's a challenging time as it is enough already. So we want to ask persons to let's be very careful on the roadway. We got schools back out in full right now, the public service, private sector. We're all out in full on the roadways. So we want to just remind persons in terms of being very, very careful on the roadways.
And we understand it's a grey Ford Ranger. We do understand as well that fire services are on the scene, but the traffic is moving pretty slowly. So for those of you who are going east, just be mindful of this. Those of you coming from the east into Scarborough, there's going to be a bit of a delay because of this accident in the Glamorgan area.
All right, and that's of course going to affect our families and children in terms of heading on in to make that connect. Well, we're preparing to head on over from the Tobago Updates morning show to head over to GMT. And the GMT this morning with Candice. Candice, that May 22nd kind of glow.
Of course.
It must be the pink, Ria.
It
almost seems planned.
Great minds think alike.
The white,
it's a May flu. It's a May flu, right?
You know what? I'm not even going to go there.
I'm not going to go there. That's the kind of flu, because Ria is bordered by me as well, husband and dad. So you know what I mean.
Boys, yeah.
I'll just leave it there.
All right, so we're looking forward, folks, as we head on over to GMT with Candice this morning. And we got to continue to remind persons that, we still are in challenging times.
Definitely. So we're certainly not out of the woods yet. So we want to remind you, viewers, wherever you go, whatever you do, to remember to wear your mask, sanitize, and socially distance.
All right. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye.
Morning as the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me.
Education Division presents plan for COVID-19 positive students. Fishermen unhappy with fuel rebate proposal. Pediatric Pfizer vaccines arrive in the country. And in sports, Tobago YMCA Aqua Warriors dominate at Nationals.
Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago. I am Candice Jackson. It is Monday 24th May, 2022. Let us dive into our top story. With many questions arising among parents in recent weeks, the Division of Education, Research and Technology spoke to some of the policies they are implementing to treat with COVID-19 positive students. It is a working document and will be adjusted as needs be. Here is more in this report. 88 positive COVID-19 cases were recorded since the start of physical classes on April 20th, according to Education House Officer Dr. Dean Joseph.
88 cases, 82 cases were students and teachers, whereas 6 were staff at the Division of Education. A further breakdown revealed that 33 of these cases were amongst our secondary school students, whereas 49 cases were among the primary school students.
Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Zorisha Hackett, urged parents to keep children at home if they are exhibiting flu-like symptoms and contact the principal or teacher. When a case is detected, either by the parent or the teacher at the school, the Education Health Unit will set up appointments at the green room for testing.
So parents, you are not to take your kids to the green room unless they are given an appointment. Walk-in clients will not be facilitated.
Parents will be contacted via phone calls or WhatsApp messages. Meanwhile, Hackett says all sinus-related symptoms must be treated as a COVID-19 case until tested.
With increased levels of Saharan dust, persons with allergies may also experience some of these symptoms. We can only rule out that is not due to COVID-19 by swabbing and testing anyone with one or more of these symptoms.
For parents who do not want their children to be tested, students will be quarantined in similar fashion to confirmed COVID-19 cases.
But if a suspected case does not want to be tested, you will be treated as a COVID-19 case. Thus, the child and their household will be placed on quarantine for 13 days.
The administration continues to advise that vaccinations among students are the best defense against COVID-19. So far, 2,510 students are partially vaccinated, while 2,025 students are fully vaccinated. This is out of an eligible population of approximately 6,000 students. For Tobago Updates, I am Candace Jackson. Meanwhile, pediatric Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines have arrived in the country. The vaccines arrived at the Piarco International Airport at 6:44 yesterday morning. These vaccines were specially developed to inoculate children ages 5 to 11. None of the other vaccines available to adults are approved for children. However, regular Pfizer vaccines are approved for children ages 12 to 18. The Ministry of Health announced that pediatric vaccines will be available in health centers across the country from Wednesday. In Tobago, it will be available at health centers in Scarborough, Canaan, Roxborough, and Mariah. All children to be vaccinated must be accompanied by a parent or guardian. Parents and guardians are also asked to walk with national identification and the birth certificate of the child. Remaining in education, lack of access to devices and proper connectivity has caused some students to fall behind during the pandemic. While all students are back in physical classrooms, some are still struggling to keep up. Secretary of Education, Research and Technology, Zorisha Hackett, says the division needs data before they can put a plan in place.
The data is being assessed currently. We're gathering the information, and we have to ensure that when school reopens in September, that we can find ways and means of ensuring that our children are brought up to speed and that we have our struggling students on par with their colleagues in the classroom.
Says students are excited to be back in school after being away for 2 years. Moving on to some other news, ADFA's president is disappointed with THA's fuel rebate initiative. He said rebate does not justify the money spent by fisherfolk for fuel in order to ply their trade. More in this report.
So the data is being
always at the forefront seeking his members' interests, All Tobago Fisherfolk President Curtis Douglas said he is not happy with the arithmetic regarding the rebate incentive as outlined in a press release from the Division of Food Security, Natural Resource, the Environment and Sustainable Development. He said it simply doesn't add up.
In respect to the gas rebate, what THA is doing, 12 cents on the liter is really next to nothing. So when you spend $900 in gas to go to sea, you only getting back $18.28 on $900. Most you could get back is $19 on $900 and $900. that goes to sea. We have to do better than that.
Douglas said, as marine and fisheries stakeholders, the Marine and Fisheries Department never met with the All Tobago Fisherfolk Association to discuss the relaunch of the rebate incentive initiative so that they could have made an input. He is now wondering if fishermen will be rebated retroactively for the previous years.
And is it that they are giving us some retroactive funding for all the years that they hadn't been doing this? Somebody need to be fired. Something needs to be done, because this is not how we build a society. I mean, we have to work together, but this kind of draconian way and attitude and performance that I have seen displayed by the Fisheries Department is quite disturbing.
The ATFA president accused the division of sidelining fisherfolk. He added that they are not comfortable with the fact that unilateral decisions are made on their behalf. He proposed a formula for fair rebate to the fisherfolk.
We are clamoring for that the rebate be 50 cents on a litre, so that we could probably help pass on that to the consumer, because the way that is going now, it will be like they're shutting down the whole fishery, the whole fishing industry in Tobago. Something has to be done.
Douglas pointed out that it is over 20 years since there has been any adjustment to the gas prices. He said that the management of the Marine and Fisheries Department must have a discussion with his organization in order to fix their issues. The relaunch of the National Gas Rebate Incentive Program will come into effect from Tuesday, 31st May. Fisherfolk will be offered 12 cents per litre for gasoline used in fishing vessels. 10 cents will be given per litre for diesel, while an offer of 75 cents per litre for oil will be given. A fisherman seeking these rebates must first be registered, must operate a registered vessel, and the vessel's engine must be registered. The fisherman must present a completed quota card inclusive of supporting documents and receipts from a recognized gas station. Beverly Edwards for Tobago Updates.
Turning now to some politics. A 2% wage increase for public servants is being described as a slap in the face by political leader of Unity of the People, Nkosi Phillips. Last week, it was revealed that the Chief Personnel Officer is proposing a 2% wage increase for public servants as negotiations are ongoing. Public servants have not experienced a wage increase since 2013. Here is more in this report. A 2% wage increase between 2013 and 2022 is insulting to public servants, according to political leader of the UTP, Nkosi Phillips.
That's 0% or 1% for the prison service or any other service coming along. It's a slap in the face. It's more than a slap in the face. It's a disgrace to the citizen and the hard-working people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Recently, the central government moved to increase the national budget by $3 billion, intended mostly to pay debts. They also reported billions of dollars more in surplus revenue is expected in the coming months. Based on that report, Phillips believes the government has enough money to support public servants along with middle and lower income citizens.
If we take $1 million or $1.3 million and distribute that to all low income and middle class persons, not only that, the soldiers and everybody to get a back pay, don't you think, and we just give it to them for them to re-inject back into the economy, don't you think this country will be developed?
More so, Phillips is concerned about what union leaders have been doing in recent times to ensure fair wage negotiations are taking place with the CPO and the government.
The persons who are negotiating and supposed to be negotiating is the union leaders, and I think the past PSA president was negotiating, and what did we get from it? Him becoming an assemblyman in the Tobago House of Assembly and aspiring his politics and forgetting about the people.
Already, nurses in Trinidad have begun protesting the CPO's proposal, while other public servants are threatening similar action. However, Phillips finds it curious that the voice of Tobago-based public servants is missing.
But I'm not seeing Tobago defending themselves. Tobago continues to be silent and to be taking the same slap in the face like how you soldiers are getting it.
Phillips is calling on all public servants to take action against the proposals, until government offers them a more reasonable wage adjustment. For Tobago Updates, I am Candace Jackson. Turning now to some national news. Opposition leader Kamala Prasad Bisesa is accusing the Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley of not telling the truth about the SABGA report. Dr. Rowley on Sunday stated he was shocked about the contents of the report and had no prior knowledge. The SABGA report, compiled in 1997, detailed extensive physical and sexual abuse endured by children in home institutions across the nation. Speaking at the UNC Virtual Monday Night Forum, Prasad Bisesa explained the SABGA report was used to form 5 pieces of legislation in 1999 to address the care of children.
We accepted the recommendations that we must do something about these homes and take care of children, and we had the legislation drafted. We brought them to the Parliament. They were passed in the Parliament. They were passed. And where were you? Maybe you were sleeping again in the Parliament, I don't know.
Prasad Bisesa says the SABGA report was also referenced on the 19th of November 2002 when another piece of legislation regarding the children was debated in Parliament.
Camille Robinson Regis. Which report? SABGA report. And there are numerous other instances coming down the road where this report has been referenced in the Parliament. MP Rambali Puterel. In the Parliament, outside the Parliament, it's been all over. It is only Rowley who was probably still fast asleep.
The opposition leader described Dr. Rowley's remarks about the report as fake outrage. She claims the Prime Minister is taking the report seriously. He will not hesitate to implicate the high-ranking PNM officials who were named in the report as being a part of a pedophile ring who preyed on children in homes.
They are not the ordinary rank-and-file members of the PNM. They are not the ones being accused of this. These are the high-ranking elites and opportunists who trample the grassroots PNM members.
Prasad Bisesa, however, hopes that maybe now justice can be served for the children who suffered in state care. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health is trying to source monkeypox vaccines for any infections to reach Trinidad and Tobago. During a sitting of Parliament yesterday, Minister of Health Terence Singh was questioned about proactive measures for monkeypox, which has now been detected in 14 countries outside of Africa.
To all our local and international partners to acquire the vaccination JYNNEOS. The vaccination strategy at this point in time, if we get the vaccines, is not a national vaccination drive like COVID.
In the meantime, Singh states that measures are being implemented at ports of entry to detect and treat people entering the country who may be exhibiting signs of the virus.
Our high alert at the Port Health, we have revisited that, put them back on high alert at Port Health for screening. The CMO also wrote to all RHAs on the 20th of May to alert all RHA physicians how to diagnose, isolate, and treat suspect cases of monkeypox.
The ministry is also attempting to educate the public on signs and symptoms of the virus. We need to take a quick break, but we'll be back right after with sports, so don't go anywhere.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, and turning now to sports. The Tobago YMCA Aqua Warriors returned to Tobago with a haul of 17 medals and 5 high point trophies from the recently held ASATT National Open Long Course Championships at the National Aquatic Center in Balmain, Couva. The Aquatic Warriors team comprised of head coach Mosi Denoon, assistant coach Rochelle Pierre, national swimmers Jacob Cox, Onella Walker, and Sedal Johnson. Pierre, competing in the female 25 and over age group category, won 5 medals and 2 trophies. Denoon also secured 5 medals and 2 trophies in the male 25 and over age group category. Newly appointed national team member Sedal Johnson claimed 3 medals and 1 trophy in the female 25 and over. Onella Walker got 2 gold medals in the 11 and over age category. Walker also attained gold in the 50-meter backstroke and 100-meter backstroke events, with a seasonal best time of the 100-meter backstroke with a time of 1 minute and 5.45 seconds. Jacob Cox claimed a silver medal in the 200-meter breaststroke. After 4 days of swimming, Rochelle Pierre placed first overall in the female 25 and over age group category, followed by teammate Sedal Johnson. Mosi Denoon was the winner of the male 25 and over age group category. The championship was the last preparatory competition for athletes participating in the Pan American Age Group Swimming Competition Championships being held in Trinidad from the 2nd to the 5th of June 2022. The Pan American Masters Swimming Championships being held in Colombia in mid-July 2022. Let us now look at what the TNT Met Office says we can expect in weather. For the period today until tonight, we can expect a cloudy morning with intermittent showers and rain, which will be heavy at times over varying areas. There is a 40% chance of isolated thunderstorm activity in a few areas. Conditions will settle during the afternoon to give way to a mostly fair night. There is a significant concentration of Saharan dust in the atmosphere, and people with respiratory conditions are being asked to take the necessary precautions. Winds are blowing east-northeast to southeast with a maximum of 35 kilometers per hour. Seas are slight to moderate, with waves getting up to 1.5 meters in open waters and near calm in sheltered areas. There is a forecasted temperature high of 30 degrees Celsius during the day and a low of 24 degrees Celsius at night. The sun will set at 6:20 p.m. today. And that's it for your weather report. Let us now recap the headlines. Education Division presents plans for COVID-19 positive students. Fishermen unhappy with fewer rebate proposal. Pediatric Pfizer vaccines arrive in the country. And in sport, Tobago YMCA Aqua Warriors dominate at Nationals. That's it for your morning news. Be sure to join us again at 8 a.m. tomorrow for more news. All right, and so we have a lot of things now happening in the country. There's a lot of talk, a lot of news, a lot of information coming out, for instance, about what's been happening in children's homes over the years, and the stories are very, very sad and heartbreaking. And I mean, even though, there's a call, what has governments, administrations, the various administrations over the past been doing about it, it also comes down to what were we as a people doing and how were we as a people treating these children. Because, I mean, it is not the government ministers that were in these homes abusing or, ignoring the abuse that's been going on. It is our own people, it's our own brothers and sisters that have been working there. And it makes you wonder, for those persons that are working in these homes, what were they thinking when they're seeing these reports and hearing the complaints of the children? They witnessed to some of these things that have been going on and they did nothing. And then you already have children that are coming from broken homes, coming from some pretty bad situations. I mean, already experiencing abuse from the places that they were coming from, and hoping to come into a place where they can get relief and get help, but they are not getting help. And then what we're seeing is that there's a lot of social ills in this country. There's a lot of crazy crime happening. I mean, sometimes we wonder, what's going on with these people that are committing these crimes. But when you look back as to what had happened with them growing up, and to what they have been subjected to and how they have been taken advantage of, it is no wonder sometimes that they come out in this kind of a situation. But I mean, you know, it is harrowing, and I'm hoping that as more of these conversations come to light, that we as a people can look within ourselves and see how we can do better. Because if we as a people can't do better, then I mean, we don't know what else to expect, and there's only so much that the government can do when it comes to these situations. Everybody has to make that choice. Now, on to our discussions for today. I'll be speaking with the president for the Tobago branch of the Trinidad and Tobago Teachers Union Association. Well, we'll be discussing what's been happening with our students lately in schools. You know, we had the Division of Education host a press conference yesterday to talk about some of the COVID-19 measures that are being implemented in schools across. I mean, and we're also going to be following up on how the students themselves are taking note, because we saw from yesterday, you know, the secretary said that there wasn't any plan yet in place to deal with students that are falling behind, because I mean, let's not, you know, mix any matters here. There are students that are falling behind as a result of the pandemic, not having access to devices and connectivity, and you know, we need to sort that out. So we're going to be getting into the discussions in a minute, so don't go anywhere, and I will be back right after the break.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Joining me on set, of course, is Mr. Braden Roberts, the Tobago tutor representative. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to the viewers as well.
All right, so just getting straight into it. Now, we heard from the Division of Education yesterday about some of the plans and the measures and policies that they have in place to treat with COVID-19 positive students. And I just want to get from you, you know, how has things been working with that? We saw that, you know, there's been 88 persons within the education system that have tested positive so far. How are things working from a teacher's perspective?
All right, so let me first give a little context. When we had even the former administration, we were advocating for Tobago to put up their own staff guidelines.
Right.
The reason being, the guidelines being put up by the ministry, some of the things won't fit into what Tobago had. Subsequently, we had the change in administration, and our first meeting we continued advocating Tobago needs to put out their own guidelines. So I am pleased to the point that we have reached that stage where guidelines have gone out. However, the purpose of Tobago putting out their own guidelines was to suit our system. However, I'm seeing the guidelines and not the system. We are seeing numbers of 88, and I'm not thinking that these persons are being dishonest with the 88. I think that's the numbers they got.
Yes, that's the reported numbers.
That's what they got.
Yeah.
And we have a little over 40 schools. So you are seeing on average is 2 cases per school, primary and secondary. It's not the case at all. We need to have this system of testing in a robust way where either we are testing our students, our children, and if persons are going to be tested, you ask them one time what's the profession, so you know if they are teachers or not. What we are getting is persons are being tested, some persons doing their own tests at home, persons are staying home, so they are not capturing those persons. What is happening currently in schools is affluent in and out, teachers in and out, students in and out. So to say that we have this, the theory of what this system should be, and we're good and we're happy, yes, I'm partially happy, because I don't want to knock the efforts of the division. They are trying to see if they can put things in place. What I don't want persons to be confused with, that the job is done. The job is now to get going. The reason why they only have 88 is what the system afforded them to be able to capture.
Right.
We need continuity. So it's a step in the right direction in having the policy and so on. But we need to have the backing of the system. Unless the system function, what we actually got was theory.
So are you saying that, you know, students should be tested at a greater capacity and more often?
No, the capturing of it. So here's what happens. When students stay home from school, there isn't that alarm, that tracing to find out why the child was home. We also have students, once they're not displaying symptoms, would not be tested. So it's up to a parent to say, well, he was home 2 weeks, so he gets a clearance to come back to school. It cannot be so simple.
Right.
We have persons testing at health centers. I hope that they streamline students to be tested in specific areas. Because when they are not tested by that division team, when you go to get tested, as I said before, they don't ask you which school you are at, where do you work. So it's only when a contact tracer is assigned to you, then they try to gather that data. Now a contact tracer, they call you about a week after. How are you going to do contact tracing, primary contacts, notifying the school if it's a week after you're contacting persons? So that was of old. We have a system that they would have put forward yesterday. We are hoping that the improvements, that the system that they would have highlighted would be able to capture and enhance that kind of operation. Principals have not been getting these phone calls that you need to sanitize, you have a case in your school. Those calls have not been common in our schools. What we have is teachers calling me constantly concerned that there's a case in the school, no one is informing us, we're not hearing to go on quarantine. So the information is not as current, and I believe it's a capacity thing. I don't think that the division is operating ad hoc. It's more of a capacity. It's a lot of cases, you know. And the fact that we have home test kits, persons doing their own thing at home and just staying home. So we don't have the continuity in education now that we were hoping for, because of all these kinks in the system. So the division needs to do their best. I see that they have tried in getting the policy document and so on. It's well crafted, but it needs to be more than that. It needs to have the implementation of it.
And how are teachers dealing with students that, you know, have to stay home? They have to be on quarantine, they have to be isolated and that kind of thing. How is that affecting just the overall education of these classes?
Well, I would say it's very frustrating. You see, throughout even the online versus face-to-face, what tutor always advocated for is continuity. You see the disruptions, 1 minute you have this child, then a week. Even the teacher going on quarantine, because a teacher who is ill, you can't expect the teacher being ill to be functioning in any kind of capacity.
And on that point, is it that the teacher would continue teaching virtually when you're ill? I mean, like if they're on quarantine, or are they just, you know, on quarantine and then the class has no teacher for a couple weeks?
Well, you see, it's to have a teacher go online when they're on quarantine is an unrealistic, unreasonable expectation. We can't all assume that going back to your home is suited to conduct, despite the teacher's health. Your home can just transform to being suited with all the resources to educate. And then you're talking about someone's health. So if it is that the teacher is just on quarantine but not positive, it's still not a reasonable expectation that these teachers could just flip to online. And then if a teacher is ill, then, well, I mean, come on, I don't think I need to comment on that.
Of course not, yes. And then when it comes to the students?
And well, it goes both ways. Our students, we need to have calm and continuity. You see the stop-start, persons who are good in maths, they will always say, you see the moment you stop doing the maths, a term pass, that's why they say when you finish school, try to go and do maths right away because it's fresh. You see the stop-start? So it goes through the curriculum, especially for that young age. When we have students, we're catching on with the work, and then they're out for 2 weeks. Out for 2 weeks doing what? We are not certain if they're reading at least at home, you know, what they are coming back to catch up from. And we have gaps in our school. So it's not that a teacher could just take time to bring this one child back up to speed. We have several gaps in the various students we have in front of us. So it is a challenge. Our teachers have been given their different levels of frustration, but we have to try our best. It's not something that we can throw our hands up and give in. We have to try our best, and our teachers have been trying their best.
Secretary Hackett yesterday stated that, you know, they are still trying to come up with a system to treat with those students that are falling behind, and they are now waiting on that data to inform that system. What are your opinions on this response to, you know, treating to those kids that are really, really struggling?
All right, so I'm trying to be optimistic here. Waiting on what data? I don't know what other data we want to capture. I mean, we had curriculum officers visiting teachers' classroom throughout the pandemic. I don't know what other data we want to collect again. The reality is, and we are seeing it with the school-based violence now, our education system needs to be more captivating for our students. Our education system needs to get away from just the raw academics. So if a child doesn't do good in maths and do good in English, they would have failed. And we need to get away from that. We have tried to incorporate the co-curricular activities, but we are not seeing where they are all towards a particular goal where we know that, like let's say Signal Hill, they are science-based. So we gearing all our activities towards building this goal, this objective. Let's say we give bishops a tourism project. So at least if you don't do well in the academics, there must be something else. So when I heard the secretary spoke about the Tobago centric, that's the direction. And I mean, I'm willing, I have ideas in terms of how it can roll out. It does not mean that you're taking away the curriculum to replace it with anything else. It's a flavor you're giving to it. So it's the same creative writing, it's the same, all the other subjects remain the same. But the angle, the thematic approach you're going to use to incorporate other aspects. And I think if we don't address that, we will continue to lose our students.
And then what about the timing? Because, of course, you said that they don't have anything in place right now. They're still collecting the data, gathering the data. How quickly does the division need to move?
The sooner they engage stakeholders in a meaningful way, and we get to the table, we put our brains, our thoughts together and start building out this thing, it better would be for us. Since I've been engaging with the new administration, there hasn't been much opportunity for us to really build out anything. I know that it's difficult for individuals to have someone always seeming to be at them. I'm at no one. I'm not at the secretary. I want the secretary to do well. However, I'm an advocate for certain things in the education system. So it should not be taken personally to the point where we are not able to work together. We should be working together to be building out these things. I'm never against the division. I'm for a standard, a principle. So when we get these things going, we will be able to move forward. You see, waiting on what data to build what when. I mean, that's just futuristic. It sounds good to the ear. We have been talking about the contract teachers, if I could just slip that in.
Yes.
They have been saying, well, they want to do the research. When are we going to really start doing something for our contract teachers? We need to meet, and I've asked for a meeting for the longest while. But I know I have sensed the challenge of, you know, having someone always talking about the issues and then willing to work with that same person. But we had to be mature in it, you know, and we had to come together and build out these things. So gathering the data to me is something to hold.
All right. Now, I just want to switch the conversation a little bit to what's going on nationally in regards to, you know, the negotiations for public servants. And, of course, teachers sort of fall into that category. So I want to know from tutor's standpoint, where do you guys stand in regards to these wage negotiations that are going on right now?
All right. So, first of all, we are grateful that we have been in the position where negotiations would have started. We are attentive to the government and they flip-flop in the language. So 1 minute the economy is doing good and, you know, we go into this 3-point-something billion because we're projecting that things will be better. However, it's not so good if we have a salary negotiation. So, I mean, the Prime Minister speaking about the hardship where salary negotiations is concerned, that's the government doing what they think they need to do in this game. Because negotiations seem to be a game to some people. To tutor, it's not. We are very serious about this. Whether they find 2% is a dent on the economy, or 10% or 15%, we do work on percentage. We work on the market. So we see where the gap is. So where we would have negotiated in 2013, where is that gap as to where our salary should be when we scan the market, and we see how close we can make that gap. How much we can reduce that gap. So we are focused on the hardship of our teachers, how the economy has affected our teachers, and we're going to negotiate accordingly. We are not fazed by the flip-flop in the submissions of the government. They, to me, will be doing that. We need to be hard and fast to our needs of our membership and to see how soon we could get the best package for our members.
What is an idea of the best package for teachers?
Well, we would have done, in terms of the subcommittees that would have the CPO, we would have done the initial phases as to see which would be our comparators. The other bodies would have negotiated and so on. We would have gotten to the point of how we're going to age the data we would have received. Those things would have to be put forward now by the CPU as to where they would be drawing the line at. We would see if they drew the line at an acceptable standard or not. So it's not something for me to say 10%. It's not a percentage thing with us. So it's difficult for me to say off the bat what a percentage could be. If I could give a percentage of closing, the idea would be for us to close the gap 100%. But as close as is possible over the previous years, when we would have concluded, we had about 90%. So we are looking for a similar range. I mean, when you look at a salary of a teacher, an assistant teacher who teaches even the standard 5 classes, they get $6,000 a month. Now, persons don't believe teachers get this kind of salary. A seasoned teacher at a teacher 1 would get probably $9,000 something, $10,000. Now, you could easily pinpoint jobs that have that salary, you know, that don't have all that studying to do as you would need to become a teacher. I mean, the role that teachers play in our society, for especially an assistant teacher getting $6,000. So, I mean, we will stay hard and fast to the needs of our members and not so much be dissuaded by the rhetoric of the government. I mean, they will play their part to show you should be happy for 2% or happy for 1%. They're doing their part, and we would have to be focused on what we need to do.
And if the discussions are not seeming to go in a reasonable favor, is tutor prepared to take any action?
Well, the CPO already told us that he don't mind being serenaded, so if he has to come out and wave his flag as well, he will so do. Of course, we would make our displeasure and so on known appropriately. So while it's a national call and so forth, we have to also strategize. So we may go with the national call and so forth accordingly, but we are focused. So there are different actions that could be taken. We have asked our members to be ready, get your jersey. If you notice, I have on my tutor jersey. We have Tutor Tuesdays where we're going to be advocating strongly our displeasure for what has been offered and the need for them to be more serious at the table. I think this CPO just threw that out at us to see how we would respond. and there's something more serious to come. It cannot be what they will have offered.
All right, so I mean, some very interesting times ahead, and we're
Indeed.
looking forward to see what happens.
Indeed.
Because, of course, teachers play an extremely important role in our country, and they do a job that not many people can do.
Yes, and I mean, there are some teachers, new teachers, when they just come in, they're like, this is what it is. Yes, that's what it is. You need to prepare yourself.
And perhaps sometimes the population, it's a bit hard on teachers at times, because it's not fully understanding the scope of what needs to be done.
But that is not unreasonable, you know. You know, actually, in my conversation with teachers, I mean, it's part of it. Yes. We are emotional beings. So when a parent is feeling aggrieved, they lash out. If a supervisor finds the principal didn't handle something, they may respond a particular way. We need to be mature in it.
Yes.
So the job entails dealing with emotional persons and being able to handle that. So, I mean, yes, it is extremely tough, but I mean, the appreciation will come. I am confident that we will have a good enough package for our teachers. Eventually, we need to do a census as to what value we should really be putting to teaching, which will have a different salary range and so forth, but we are far from that. But in terms of negotiations, I'm confident we will get something.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Roberts, for being with us and having this conversation. And viewers, well, that's it for our show this morning. I want to thank you so much for joining with us, and I hope that you do have a wonderful, safe, and productive day. See you again tomorrow.
Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.